Hi everybody, it's Terri with Terri's Creation Station. It's time for another tutorial and I'm so happy to be here, and that's corny because we're going to use a bee sign. Let me show you. Where did I put it? Here it is. This is the sign that we're going to be using, and it came from Hobby Lobby, and I'll be giving you a PDF with all the supplies listed so you'll know. But this is our inspiration, and we're going to do it on a grapevine, which is my favorite. But first, we're going to make a bow. And, of course, we're going to make a Terri bow. So let me quietly put that down. All right, let's move over here to my board. And there are, as you know, detailed instructional videos on the Terri bow. If you need to go to YouTube and see those, then I do encourage you to go, and there are several of them that you can watch. Some are slower than others, and I think you'll be successful in being able to make this bow. But I've already got my wire ready. We're going to do 3 ribbons, and we're going to repeat them twice. A Terri bow has 6 different ribbons usually, but you have some variety that you can interject, and you can use different ribbons. 3, alternate 2, it just doesn't really matter. It's just your personal preference. So we're going to start here, and I am using Pro Bow the Hand. This is a product you can either get from probowthehand.com or you can get it on Amazon. And either way, this is a wonderful product to have in your arsenal of tools for your shop. So I'm going to go pretty much quickly through this bow because there are detailed instructions on YouTube or on Regina's website that you can reference. So I won't get too detailed here, but those of you that are new, just know that this is a fun bow, has a lot of versatility. And we're just going to quickly run through this. Now I've got some bee inspired ribbon here as the 1.5 inch or the 1 inch. And then some dotted Swiss. And then we're going to use the big black polka dot, which I love. This is on row D. You can make this bow smaller, but this is going to be a huge wreath. It's going to be on a 24-inch grapevine base. So I wanted the Terri bow to be a significant size so that we could really have an impact with it. Now, I don't know why my board's slipping around. I've got Velcro here for it to sit on. It's not grabbing. Things never work when you want them to. So we're just going to get this bow done first. It's time to start thinking about all the spring designs, and this is a good one for spring. The bees are always fun to do. I'm actually allergic to bees, so they're not my favorite things, but in the design world, I'll pretend that I like them. But I like the yellow and the black white together. Just has a way to make it pop. You can, of course, make a hand bow. There are other bow makers out there on the market. So whatever you choose to use. I'm trying to move this thing over. So. Some people are very efficient at making their bows by hand. I can do either. know I might have to replace this Velcro because it's slipping around everywhere. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat those 3 patterns, the bee and the dotted Swiss and then the large polka dot. So let's talk about the size of this wreath. It is on a 24-inch grapevine oval base. Those are going to start out big, so you know the end result is going to be a large wreath. And if you've got customers who require it and can afford the price point, because the more you put on it, obviously the more it costs. So the sales price is going to go up. The doors require it because they're large. Move this out of the way. And so even if you predominantly make smaller wreaths for your business, once in a while make a big one just so that your customers know that you have the ability to do that. And that will give your business a bigger profile of your design capabilities. And you don't seem like you're just limited to a certain size or type of design. So I do encourage you to make something big once in a while. And that's kind of how I got some of the customers I have, is I showed them that I could do things that were bigger on a bigger scale. These big houses require bigger designs. And if you don't scale it properly, it's going to get lost on the door and it'll look silly. I mean, it just looks silly to have those tiny little wreaths on huge doors with massive entryways. If you hear gunshots, that's not gunshots. We are filming this on January 1, New Year, and they are popping fireworks. So, which I'm sure Honey Rutu's not happy about. This back ribbon is a 4-inch, so on the larger wreath bases, if you can use a 4-inch ribbon, I do think it's a good idea, just because it's such a bigger base. And the plans that I have for this particular wreath are going to have some big elements in it. I had one customer on a smaller scale. I had a bee wreath done, and she wanted it because they raise, I don't know if you raise bees or you, anyway, they had a bee farm. So I guess they do honey, cultivate honey, or however you want to call it. Alright, this bow is done except for the fluffing. So let's get that done. Now I like to push the bow into the inside of the middle finger of this base post. And then we're going to pull this off and then wrap it tight. Here we go. Pull it really tight. This thicker ribbon does require you to really give it some push. Okay, so here we have our bow, and it's stacked one on top of the other. And now we're going to use our fluff box to open that bow up. Okay, there's a little hook here, eye hook, and also a nail, so I'm going to wrap that around there. And we're going to just open this bow. In the instructional videos on YouTube, there will also be one on how to open the bow. It gives you all the instructions for that. There is a technique to opening the bow when you use Pro Bow. You just kind of curl it around. Put a loop next to a tail. That's the way we do it. And we're just going to work our way around. We started on the bottom and then worked our way up. So I'm going to pull this around. It's not real important to get this exactly perfect because you're going to be messing around with it on your wreath base. So, you know, just kind of a general fluff out, and then you can perfect it when it's time to do your finishing touches. Just to get it going, at least. And then I'll finish it at the end. But look how pretty that is. I love the black in it. You know, black's a big color this year and also carrying through into the winter of next season. For Christmas, black is in. Everything black. Okay. Alright, that's pretty good for now, because once we get it on the wreath itself, we can get it a little better. Okay, so this is the Terri bow. It was made on row D, and you can see it's quite large, but we're going to put it on a big, large, oh, that's kind of redundant, big, large. It's a 24-inch base, so it's going to be a nice start for a bigger design. All right, let's move over to our wreath base, and we're going to start by putting the bow on there. And one thing I love to do on a wreath, a grapevine wreath, is when I add my bow, I like to use this grapevine wire. You can get this at Hobby Lobby. It's covered in like a cloth, but it mimics a grapevine, so it gives you some camouflage. And because I'm not going to use these thin little wires to put it on there, I like some substantial hold to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add this right where the other wire went. Just kind of find where the path is for that wire and how it went on there, which is right there. They're really popping out there tonight. Okay, so I've got it there. I'm going to use my needle nose pliers to put it on the wreath. Okay, so we're moving over to my wreath stand. I'm going to put this at about 11 o'clock, okay? Like if you were looking at the clock and wanted to kind of know position-wise where it was going to go, that's where I would say it was going to be. And I always cut way too much of this wire. Wasteful. but I've got it on there so that I can pull it really tight. Let's just turn this thing around. Well, it's stuck. There we go. So you see we came through the back. You can't hardly see this wire because it's the same color as the grapevine. I'm just going to give it a twist. Cut that off. And then this little part's kind of pokey, so let's get rid of it by turning it in on itself into, well, that didn't work. I just undid it. Okay, no worries. We'll take it back, put it back together. See, things happen in the shop. What do? You just fix it. Put it back together. Okay, so there it has. You can put a little bead of glue on that if you want to kind of hold it, but it's really not necessary. Okay, one thing I do recommend on this size of a wreath, or really could do this on any wreath, is put a little piece of something you can see, like a pipe cleaner. I'm just going to use this tinsel rope. Find your center of your wreath, because once you get going, you're going to lose where your center is. So I'm just going to insert this in the back of my wreath where the top center of the wreath is. That way I always have that as a reference. And you can remove that later, but that'll give you a guide to work on or work from. This top is a weird combination of, there. Okay, so I can fluff this out a little bit now. Lordy mercy. Let's see if I can put it on there. Oh. This thing is really testing my patience. I'm not catching it. This may be one of those challenging designs, you know what I'm saying? Okay, we got it. I don't want it constantly falling off. Okay, so I'm pulling my bow around kind of to the front. We're going to work on the shape of it as we go. Not too concerned right now. But you see how big that is? It really needed it. It needed that size. Alright, we're going to stop messing with that now and figure it out later. Alright, let's put our sign on. And this was again from Hobby Lobby. It's from their spring collection. So it is currently 40% off. Actually, I need to save that. And this will be easy to install on the wreath because it's got all these places we can wire it on. So I'm not going to use this. I'll take that off because it's not very stable. And we're just going to use some of this wire from Hobby Lobby to put that on there. So we're going to kind of decide, I think it needs to be right about here. So let's just cut a few pieces of this wire and put that on there. Now these little bees can come out further. See, it's kind of three-dimensional. They're on little like springs. And these antennas are touching on every single start finding a place to anchor it. You almost need another whole set of hands when you do design work. You could also zip tie this, but the reason I like this as opposed to the zip ties is it's not going to show. It just looks like it's part of the wreath. Okay, let's put one up there. Just make sure that it's not going to give it you a lot of wiggle. No wiggling on your wreaths, please. So let's go underneath this little guy. Okay, so that's on there. You can either trim it off or just tuck it under there somewhere. Okay, so I've got it in two places. Let's come down here and anchor it right at the bottom. And once we get that done, we're going to start building around with some fun florals. Everything in this design, except the ribbon, came from Hobby Lobby. And most of the ribbon, if not all, came from General Wholesale. Okay, that's anchored on there pretty good. Now you can pull these little bees out and reposition them if you want. See how they're on like little springs? Turn around. Pull them out a little further so they look like they're airborne. Let's make that one go that way. Don't want them all doing the same thing. Let's push this one up. They're on little metal brackets so that, but you can't twist them too much or they'll probably break. Don't get carried away. But you can move them to some extent. Alright, let's start putting some florals in here and greenery. Remember on grapevines, if you've got some pieces that are kind of sticking out and really are interfering with your design, just clip them off. And this one has been on the side of my house, so I'm secretly looking to make sure there's not a snake or anything in here. Y'all would see this video stop. I probably would be on the floor and running out the door. Okay, florals. Let's do it. Ooh, I bought a bunch of different ones. And so, it doesn't mean I'm going to use all that, but I have the option to. And then on your list, I'll give you the final supply list of what I did actually use. And look at this big guy. couldn't resist this one. This also came from Hobby Lobby. It's $15.99, but you can get them on sale, so remember that. And you're probably thinking, that's too big. Well, I'm going to show you. Bigger is better. Now this is a huge stem, and I'm going to cut it probably way up in here. And I have a stem cutter, which makes it easier if it can go in there. And I gotta put some muscle. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna do it. Oh, there it went. Look how thick that thing is. Man. So I'm not gonna put a pick on this because it's too big. I'm just put glue and put it right into the grapevine that way. I'm gonna dip it in the glue pan. Now I want to position this right about, let's see, right about here. That is a big, substantial stem. You have to really give it some muscle and push it in there. Now, what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to bend it to make it come up. You just got to really work with it so it'll. Let's try this again. Maybe I'll go up from a different angle and it'll do better because that stem is not going to bend. Let's come in straight up. Let's see if that works better. Oops. I'm really pushing on it. Yeah, I think that's going to be a better approach. Okay. Now, I don't think that's too big at all. It looks really good on there. Nice. Okay, let's see. Let's put some of this white in. And I'm going to deconstruct this bush so that we can get more out of it. So these come apart very easy. See, you can just rip them apart. And then of course we're going to pick these with the pick machine. You could put them in without pick them. I prefer a pick on them. I'm going to come out of this bow. And you're probably thinking, oh, this is going to take forever because it's so big. Not necessarily. Because you're going to be using bigger elements, it's going to cover the wreath up a little bit better for you than if you were using smaller pieces. I mean, look how much room that flower took up. Go big or go home is what they say. So I'm just working around this bow and pushing those picks in and around. Glue strings are very annoying. If you see any of these picks extending to the back of your wreath, go ahead and just bend them back onto themselves. I don't usually worry about it until after it's over. And then I'll go back and check the back side. You can see how I'm mashing the bow. Okay, don't be worried about the bow right now. Are you worried? I'm not worried. Get on the side of it. Whoa! We had a hurricane. We had a windstorm. Now see how that's going again? It's kind of going out and extending the perimeter of our exterior outside of our wreath. That's a good thing. Okay, put a little bit more of this white to balance it out. Tag off, important. And they don't make it easy. They put them on there and sometimes they just will not come off. Alright, we're going to come down here off of this huge flower. And kind of pointing down. Because I want to balance out what's going on up here. Well, that didn't grab. Let me try to put a little more glue on it. There's an open spot right here in the grapevine, so it's not really grabbing. This one's going to be a really big seller, I think. I mean, it'll be a certain clientele that will buy it. But you could scale it down and use a smaller flower if you wanted. Okay, we're thinking about the shape of it, so it doesn't always have to be round to be a wreath. Dang it, I keep hitting that one. When I get in my zone of creating, I forget about all the equipment around me. Stems. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit right over there. One right here. So that it looks like those white flowers are just kind of cascading out of the big yellow flower, which is cool. And I think I need one up there. Okay, there we have a good start. Agreed? Now let's put, oh wow, I love this black flower. This one also is a Hobby Lobby. Now it may be kind of hard to see it, you know, but I'm going to use it because I think it's pretty. Now one thing that I do occasionally is I'll cut this stem a little bit longer so that it can come out of the design instead of being right up next to the wreath itself. Just like these bees are sticking out from the wreath, this is going to give me an opportunity to lift it up a little bit. Well, I really am surprised at this bottom of this wreath. It's just empty. It's not grabbing any of this stuff. Must be a big hole down here. Okay. But my rule is, it's not the boss of me. It's not the boss. I'm saving all my tags. For one, I can help you figure out what items are in this wreath. But the other thing is my customer, when I get ready to build this, I'll have a good idea of what's there. Let's put this one up here so that I can bill it. Materials cost times 3 will give you a really good price point to work from. And see, that one worked better because there was something for it to grab onto and then I can bend it. It's just the bottom of that wreath has no density to it. Okay, let's put in a little bit more of this. This is, well, I haven't used this yet, but this is good to get some yellow in there. A little yellow, mellow yellow. These crazy stickers. Now I know some designers like filling their wreaths up so much that you can't really even tell that there's a wreath under there, which I think is a fine way to do it, a good look. See, I'm not gonna pick this one because the stem's really a good stem. But on something like this, I really kind of like knowing what it is under there. And I like the look of the grapevine. And I'm using these stems whole. I'm not cutting them up. So you can spread them out a little bit however you want them. Nice. Okay, I think it's going to require one more right there. Now, get these things on sale. I did not, which is unusual for me. Let's come up right under here. And I need some right there. So I'm going to cut a short piece. So I'm gonna have to pick these because they don't have a really substantial stem in order for me to put into the wreath, and this would bend. So I'm just trimming those off, and I'm gonna put them together with a pick. And then I created my own pick about the size that I wanted. So you don't have to be limited to just what you get. You can change it up. Okay, let's put a little bit more yellow there. You know, step back from your design and see any spots that you may be missing something. I looked for a little bumblebee to sit on top of this flower, but there really wasn't anything available where I was shopping, so I know there's some out there, but I didn't find them. Okay, we're going to add some of this yellow down here to balance what we did up there. So you can see every stem that we use is running the price up on this sucker. And I'm just putting these in whole down here. I'm not breaking that apart. Got one more to use. I guess I planned that perfect. It was an accident. I didn't plan it. I tend to use what I have, so I have to make it work. I'm going to come over here to kind of balance out the color. Y'all probably going, why is she waving her hands? I tend to kind of, you know, do that to do a sweep to see if there's something that needs filling in. It's just my crazy way to do things. Also have these hydrangeas, which I think I may put a few of these in here because, especially like behind that black flower, it may give it a little bit of boost to be able to see it better. So if I put that behind the black up against that grapevine, that's going to give it a pop instead of it just up against the grapevine. So you can see that it gives it a little more attention. Let's put another one of these right here, coming out. See, those were $7.99. I paid full price, and I don't know how many I've put in here, but like 7.99 stems, but there's quite a few. So already this design is going to be several $100s. Just the fact that it's got so much in it. Alright, let's do the same thing. Put a little white flower under there to boost the color. Just have something for it to sit on. There we go. I love it. I love it. Okay. Let me look at it. Okay, I think I'm going to add some of this greenery here, you know, throughout, just as a contrasting color. And that'll go fairly quickly, just to give it some more greenery. And then it gives it a little more texture, so don't ever stop until you feel like you've got plenty of texture. That's my big thing. And these bushes came from General Wholesale. I'll have the SKU for you. They are plastic, but they're very good quality. Yeah, we're just going to put some of these greens throughout. Are y'all a little surprised at the size of that flower and that it actually worked in here? I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised. Thought it would work. I have another idea on how to use these, several at a time, and to make a door hanger, so I'll be sharing that with you soon. And they're really cute for spring. Okay. Let's just follow the same path that we have established. I see a tag. They put these things on so you can't get them off. There we go. You can bend these little picks too. They bend really nice. By putting the sign on first, we have a good way of knowing where to place everything. See, I like adding that little bit of lime, punch of lime green. Come on, strings. Let's see. let's see, one place I want to put some ribbon. And after we add these pieces of greenery, then we're going to be finished with this. I'm going to leave all this grapevine exposed and not try to cover it. I'm telling you, this glue is just stringing up on me today. Now, what other business could you be in? I guess there's others, but here we've spent very little time and made something that will easily sell for well, probably not 400, but probably 350, 349, something like that. And you're probably going, oh, but you'll buy that for oh, yes, they will. I had a man contact me from McKinney, Texas, and he custom ordered a wreath he saw I'd done on Pinterest for Christmas, and he never picked it up. He wasn't going to use it for this Christmas. I've got to ship it to him. He's using it for next Christmas, and it was $350. If they want it, they'll get it. I'm going to put another bow right here. Not a Terri bow, but just a loop bow. And, I think that'll be good. I think my favorite thing is it's spilling out of that big flower. I like that. God, these making me laugh. I usually clamp down my stand so it won't shift. Because I get pretty physical with my stuff. Okay, we got black there. I'm going to put a bow there. Black, black, black. I like to work in threes, so there's 1, 2, 3 of those. 1, 2. I didn't put a white one there, so let's do that. Glue that. Yeah, anytime you can put a lighter flower behind, give it some contrast. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, let's put that ribbon right behind that flower, and then we're done. So I'm just going to hand tie this. Get a straight edge. want just a little bit of a tail. So I'm going to gather. Get about that much of a loop. And we got to twist it. And then loop it. And then you can kind of make sure that your loops are the same size by holding them up next to each other. Let's see, this one needs to be a little bit bigger. And I'll cut this off. So there's level 1. And I'm just going to take some floral wire and, sorry about the noise. This is just holding it for now. I'm going to do it a different way when I put it on the wreath. Just going to hold it there. Twist it so it'll just hold it while I make the other two. Okay. Now we're going to use the same ribbon we did up there, which is this one. I'm going to make these loops just a little bit smaller, okay, than these two. So same length on the tail. And then I'm going to check this loop and make sure it's a little bit smaller. Twist. Gather. Cut the tail. Wrap that around so it'll hold it just until I can get it all put together. And then let's finish with this bumblebee. Kind of make it about the same. Twist. Down on top. Now that was all just to help me hold that, remember. Now I'm going to zip tie it, pull it all together. So then you can just hide this wire or get rid of it, doesn't matter. Just cut it. Then once we get it on the wreath, we'll really shape it out. Okay. Now, let me get some of that brown wire and we're going to go around where the zip tie is and put that on the wreath. And then this is going to be a wrap once that part's done. Yeah, that's what it needed right there. Okay, so I'm going to take this and run it through back. Oh my goodness, it grabbed it. Make sure this in there. And then this is going to go around where the zip tie was, the brown wire. Then I'm going to stick this through to the back. And then I'm going to the back and pulling those two wires together and giving them a twist. Let me trim that off. Whoa. Now we can shape this bow a little better. I don't want to hide my flower for sure, because that sucker is a focal point. We for sure want it to show. But we've got some nice tails here that we can curl up. And this ribbon, of course, ties in with the Terri bow. Even though it's a different kind of bow, it still gives a good look. So you can just curl these bottoms up a little if you want. You can also chevron them. That one's not straight. And you just throw your scraps on the floor. And then you can sweep it up later. We don't have time to be cleaning, we're creating. Yeah, it needed that bow right there. Just to get it. Very cool. Now, if I had access to a little bee, it would be cute there. And I may still be able to find one and add that. I think it would be a nice addition, like just sitting on there. I don't even have anything that would work. The only thing that I did think, because I got this at Hobby Lobby, it's just a floral accent. And instead of having this in the middle, you could put this flower in the middle of that big flower. But I think I'm going to wait and find a bee, because that's kind of in my head as to what I want to do. So just step back and see, is there anything else? People ask me, how do you know when you're done? I just know. I just know, stop. Time to stop. Okay, let me hold it up so you can see it. Minus the little bee right there. I think we are done. Let's see if I can get it off of here. Yay, I did. Now, remember at the beginning, we put that little piece of white? That way I know where the top is, right? Here's the top. And here's our final product. What do y'all think? It's a happy design. Bumblebees are always happy. Unless they bite me, and then they're not happy because I'm screaming. So you want to review? Let's review real quick. Recap. we put on the Terri bow that we made. We added the sun. Then we started putting in our florals, the whites, the yellows. Then we added the black flowers with the white behind it. Then we put in the little greens picks, and also then added another bow. And then the big yellow flower went in pretty quick after the sign. So, another successful tutorial. Thank you guys for joining us today, or myself and my great producer and director and filmmaker. And we want to try to think of maybe some other things to do. We've got a lot planned for 2019, and man, my brain is just full of things to do with you guys. So hang in there. We got a lot more coming. Let me know if you have some success in making this design, and I want to see your pictures. Until next time, thanks and goodbye.